Hello and welcome to our serial clipper Nevo. Available for PC and Mac in VST, AU and AAX formats. Featuring a combination of a 16-band soft clipper and a single-band hard clipper, this is a plugin that you will need in your plugin collection. Nevo can be used on anything from synth tracks to drums, vocals and even for mastering. Nevo's signal path is left to right, starting with the input, through to the soft clipper and the hard clipper, via the colour controls and transient shapers, and finally to the output and through the clip wall. Starting with our 16-band soft clipper controls, drive runs from a light tape to a hard tube. 0 to 50% is a light tape drive, and 50 to 100% is a hard tube. Curve tilts the frequency bias. Left is for the lows, and to the right is towards the highs. Curve works with both the soft clipper and the single band hard clipper. Smooth helps the user to drive the soft clipper as hard as possible and then smooth it off to retain the harmonic shape. At the top are the colouring styles that work in conjunction with the soft clipper, from transparent, warm, clean and bright. For example, using the warm colour setting in combination with the curve control on a bass will work great for keeping a smooth, warm and controlled audio signal. Now moving to the right side, Crush controls the single band hard clipper amount, applying sonic destruction to the audio signal. 0 to 50% generally improves the presence, and 50 to 100% is more destructive. Just like Smooth, Soften works in conjunction with Crush. 0% will smooth the Crush settings at low levels, and anything from 1 to 100% will fatten up the audio signal. Breach is a transient control. The higher the percentage, the more transients that can pass through unclipped. This helps retain transients, which is unheard of with a clipper. The higher this is, the fatter and warmer the sound. At the top are our transient shaping tools. These offer a transparent setting and 3 flavours of transient adjustment, which work great on drums and percussion, or to bring out quiet transients for a better presence in the mix. Now drawing attention to the centre of Nevo, we have the audio signal feedback window, with the signal level at the bottom in blue and the clip level at the top in red. The inner ring helps for a quick visual feedback on how hard Nevo is pressing the audio signal as well. And above the window is the clip wall, which acts as a brick wall limiter, and all processing will not surpass the clip wall setting. At either side of the viewing window are mix sliders for both the soft and hard clipper channels, so you can work in parallel if that's your jam. And finally, we have the save and load buttons at the top, along with the preset browser, and Nevo now also features UI resizing. Now let's hear Nevo in action, first on a bass. Nevo is a wonder on any instrument, and basses are no exception. Nevo will add presence, control and harmonics depending on your sound design intentions. Let's start by setting the clip wall to -6, as this is a nice comfortable level, and the mix to 0 so we can hear exactly what is happening stage by stage. With the soft clipper, we're going to crank up the drive to 100%, we want to use the colour styles, and we're going to choose the warm style. On curve, we're looking for the sweet spot where the bass literally will pop out. Cranking to the left is going to bias the lows and result in a low drive distortion. We're looking for a smooth and warm bass with controlled lows, so adjusting the curve to the right, around 30% seems to be the correct spot. Usually smooth is to help retain the high drive setting and smooth out the sound, and with this being an already well balanced sample, we're going to leave this at 0. Now let's introduce the hard clipper back into the mix. Let's turn the mix back up and start with the crush. We're going to leave the transient shaper on the default. Remember, with crush, anything below 50% is going to act as a presence booster. So let's push this a little bit harder till it sounds unpleasant. Now skipping to the soften. As we increase this, it sounds like we're actually reducing the crush dial. But in fact, we've retained all of the crush amount and the harmonics that it's added, but it's smoothed out the sound, resulting in it sounding richer and fuller. Moving back to breach, this will help some transients pop through, which your typical clippers do not allow. Anywhere between 1 and 100% will make the sound fatter and add thickness to the bass, and this works great in conjunction with soften for that fatter, thicker sound. Now let's dial the crush back to about 30% so we retain the nice roundness of the bass. And there we have it. Nevo has injected life into this bass. Let's reduce the output level so we can do some effective A&Bing. Now let's have a look at what Nevo can do using some backing vocals from the demo track. First, let's bring the mix levels to 100% for full audible processing, and bring down the clip wall to -6, as this is the headroom we are working with on this track. Let's bring up the input level to get Nevo warmed up. And starting with the crush, we want to get control of the hard clipper first. We don't want to push it too far, but we will come back to this at a later date. Let's just get it set. Bring down the breach a tad and lower the soften, as we're not trying to achieve a filled out warm sound with this vocal. The crush is sounding a little bit too intense, so we're going to adjust to the transparent style. Now moving over to the left, let's crank the drive, but using the bright style to help with the clarity. I'm going to bring the smoothing down just a tad, and let's take a look at how powerful the curve control is for audio positioning. You can hear the vocals pop out at about 60% and fade further into the background at 100. The lower frequencies are not doing too much, so let's get back to around 60%. About 58 should do this for positioning. Bringing up the soften will thicken the texture, but make it a little bit more transparent with the breach set lower. Can we push the crush a little more? No, we're going to return crush to where it was. That sounds perfect. That's pretty nice, so let's bypass Nevo to hear the original level and the sheer amount of detail pulled from the depths. We hope you enjoyed this brief introduction to Nevo. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and head over to our website soundspot.audio to sign up for our mailing list for the latest news on our products. We have been SoundSpot, and thank you for watching.